Right then, let's get into this now. And just to reiterate, the purpose of this video is to recommend the top highest end PCVR headsets out there, not the best value VR headsets. I've already made that video and I'll have a link in the description below. Right, so you're not going to hear Quest 3s and Pimax Crystal Lights and Picos and whatever. They are the best value options. But in today's video, it's all about the high end, okay? And part of this is also to reveal my personal daily driver. Let's go flying. This is Innsbruck, as you know. I mean, it's unmistakable, isn't it, really? Got some interesting weather up ahead there. So let's just take off and enjoy this beautiful scenery. Now, of course, as I talk about various headsets, I'll also bang in some B-roll of that device in case you're new to the channel or you just don't, or you're not aware of that particular VR headset, if that makes sense. Another thing I need to mention is because there is so many VR headsets out there, I have to approach this differently than I used to, because it's a very complicated video to make, and that's because we've got three segments of VR now, and those are the wireless high-end PCVR headset, the small form factor, and the fully featured larger style VR headset, such as this, the Crystal Super. And that's how I'm going to approach this today, because in the past there was always just one VR headset that ruled them all, but it's not like that anymore, guys. Things have changed, and I think that's a good thing, because it means we have more options and the PCVR segment is absolutely alive and kicking. So with that being said, let's start with the wireless end of high-end PCVR headsets, because that one is really easy. It's really easy because we only have one. Now you might disagree with me because I know there is the Quest Pro out there, but I particularly am not a fan of that headset because of the screen door effect and the low resolution, okay? Otherwise, it is absolutely a fantastic option, and if you don't mind that low resolution, then great. But in 2025, the word screen door effect is just not in my dictionary anymore, okay? It's just something I will not tolerate, especially in the high-end sector. You just cannot have a headset, in this video at least, talking about high-end specs with screen door effect. But as for the highest end of wireless PCVR, it is the Play for Dream MR. I'll just show you some shots now, what it looks like. I've done a few videos of this now on the channel, and really, when it comes to PCVR visuals, you're not going to get anything better than this right now. It has the same 4K BOE micro OLED display as the Megan X. Now, of course, this does not have a DisplayPort connection, and it does suffer from it, but if you do have Wi-Fi 7 or a really good network connection or even link, you can up that bitrate and get a fantastic image. In terms of the lenses, well, they're not the best out there, but I'm glad to say that thanks to my Discord and many other Play for Dream members, community members, they're on the ball with a new facial interface which brings you closer to the lenses. I'll show you that now. In fact, this is from a dear friend of my particular Discord, Z Flyboy, I think his name is. He actually made this for me, so thank you so much if you're watching this. Massive shout out to you, I really do appreciate it. And what that means is I can get a lot closer to those lenses, and my field of view figures have shot up from around 95 horizontal to nearly 110 degrees. It also means my sweet spot is a lot better as well, because again, being close to those lenses means that, you know, the sweet spot is wider. It also means there's less perceivable warping on the edges. In terms of other features, well, the pass-through is really good. The UI system is absolutely the best you can really expect because it's very similar to the Apple Vision Pro. You've got eye tracking, which does work in MSFS as well. What else? Obviously, the micro OLED panel means it is insanely sharp for a wireless headset with beautiful colors, perfect black levels. There is some glare though. That is something that is a bit of an issue with it depending on the type of scene. Weirdly, sometimes when I'm flying at night, I get no glare at all, while other times, in certain scenarios, there is some glare. Now, in this video, okay, I'm not going to go through the entire review of each headset because I have dedicated videos already on the channel. So I'm just going to go through the major points, good and bad. Like I say, the Play for Dream overall is an astonishing headset, but the facial interface is the Achilles heel. It's dreadful, it's awful. But I'm glad to say that is changing thanks to the community, but also Play for Dream are now aware of this and they're on the case providing a new facial interface, which I am testing at the moment, but I can't show you it because it's sort of confidential. It's like a prototype. So I don't think that's too much of a worry anymore because once the comfort is sorted with that headset, it is phenomenal. Although it's very expensive, okay? And that is because of the sensor suite that's in this headset. You know, you got eye tracking and hand tracking, I forgot about that. The 4K BOE micro OLED panel, it's got inside out tracking, you don't need base stations. It is a very high-end wireless PCVR headset, and it is the best out there right now if you want to go that route. It's as simple as that. So that's that segment, done, dusted, tick box. Right, let's move on. Now, of course, these days, micro OLED is becoming more of a thing, and I have said many times it is the future of VR. And in terms of the small form factor headsets, really we've got two main options, and that is the Big Screen Beyond version 2 and the Meganex Superlight 8K. Now, I do have a very detailed, in-depth video comparing both of them, and it's got a decent amount of views as well, so thank you for watching that. I'm not going to reiterate all that in this video because otherwise this segment itself will be over 30 to 40 minutes. But what I will say is the Beyond 2 has a lower resolution of 2560 per eye, but it's micro OLED with a maximum of 90 Hz, although that's upscaled. You're going to want to use it at 75 Hz, which is sharper. You might be thinking 75 Hz is an issue, but it's not. It's perfectly fine. It kind of feels almost like 90 Hz with a sort of traditional LCD panel. Also, with it being 75 Hz, you can halve that and get 37.5 frames per second, which is a good thing because it's a lower target for your PC to reach. Now, the Big Screen Beyond version 2 has some of the best optics out there. It is superb, guys. Really, really good. They've done a phenomenal job with the Big Screen Beyond version 2. There is an eye tracking version. I think I'm getting that soon, in which case you've either seen that or it's going to be on the channel at some point in the future. I don't know if it's going to work with dynamic foveated rendering. That could be a thing though, so if you do go for the Beyond 2, I think it's probably worth going for the eye tracking version, unless you've got a 5090, in which case it's not really needed anyway, because of that lower threshold target at 75 Hz means, you know, you're easily going to get 37 odd frames per second, and yeah, it works really well. The field of view of the Big Screen Beyond version 2 is excellent. I'm getting about 108 degrees horizontal. Very, very nice. And yeah, when it stacks up against the Superlight 8K, the Meganex, well, that has a much higher resolution. In my opinion, the panel overall is a lot better. It's just got that wow factor in terms of the better colours, which I never thought I'd say with micro OLED, but it seems to have better colours. It's a bit brighter. And oh god, honestly, just the texture of that panel means for me, when I look at the sky, it feels like I'm just looking at the sky. There's no interruptions between me Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There's no interruptions between me and that sky. Whether with any other VR headset, there's always that sort of sense you're looking through a display. Even with the Super, admittedly, this one hardly has any mirror at all, but I still can tell there's a little bit. With the Big Screen Beyond version 2, there is no mirror, but because of the lower resolution, you can tell that there is a slight graininess because of the pixels. It's not like you can see screen door effect. It's a different phenomenon, really. It's hard to explain, but it's the texture of that panel when compared to the Mega NX. It's the pixel fill itself. You definitely notice it with your eyes. On a separate note, folks, I know it sounds strange, but it's made me appreciate my eyes even more. It's amazing how the human eye can distinguish between something like 2560 and the Mega NX, which I can't remember the resolution. I'll put on the screen now. But bear in mind, those are the base resolutions. The actual rendered resolution is going to be a lot more to account for barrel distortion correction, all that kind of thing. Now, in terms of things like audio, which I didn't mention on the Play for Dream, by the way, that has audio as well. It's not great, it's very similar to the Quest 3, but at least it has audio. The Big Screen Beyond version 2, at the time of this recording, has a fantastic deluxe audio strap, which sounds fantastic. The Mega NX doesn't have that, so that's worth bearing in mind. They both need base stations as well, so you're going to need to spend money on that. Which again is a very big plus for the Play for Dream. But of course the Mega NX and the Beyond 2 has a DisplayPort connection, so they both look far better than the Play for Dream, okay? It's as simple as that. Even the Beyond 2 with its low resolution still looks better than the Play for Dream, simply because of the DisplayPort connection. It makes a massive difference, it really does, and that's just the way it is. Now, in terms of which one is the best, this is the interesting one, okay? As I'm getting a big downdraft here. The Mega NX is the better high-end headset, but I actually recommend that you buy the Big Screen Beyond version 2. It has solid software, you get a better field of view, better optics, it performs better because of the low resolution, which actually is still plenty sharp enough. It's a solid headset, folks, it really is. And the brightness is, you know, it's probably not quite as good as the Mega NX, but it's fine. I don't personally think it's that much of a problem, unless you want something really bright, in which case, don't bother with any of them. Go for the next crop of headsets, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Yeah, the Beyond 2 is the one that wins against the Superlight 8K, just simply because it's a more safer choice, especially when you consider the returns policy. The Mega NX, you cannot return it if you don't like it. Whether with the Big Screen Beyond version 2, I think you can do that. Now, I will be going back to the Mega NX a bit later on in this video, and that will become clear as you watch further down the road, okay? But in terms of the winner of the best recommended small form factor DisplayPort connection micro OLED VR headset, it's the Beyond 2. It wins, absolutely. Now let's talk about the big guns, the fully featured large VR headsets with LCD QLED panels. So in this sector we've got quite a lot. We've got the Somnium VR1, the Varjo XR4 and the Crystal Super. They're the main three really, because the Crystal Light, that's best value, okay, and that's in a separate video which I've already mentioned. Go check that out if you're interested in my opinions on that headset. But these headsets have eye tracking, insane PPD resolutions of at least 50, apart from the Somnium VR1, but we'll get into that in a minute. And yeah, these are the real heavyweights in name and nature, okay? So this is my sort of order list. At number 3 is the Varjo XR4, okay? It comes in at number 3, even though it is actually the most expensive VR headset that I'm going to talk about today. It is around $6,000 for the standard 51 ppd, which can go up to 55 ppd, I think super sample, I'm not quite sure. if it's 51 or 55, but around that sort of crazy levels, very near retina levels of resolution. It has amazing pass-through, incredible software support. The field of view is very, very nice. I can't quite remember my actual figures, but go check my full review out. As I say, I'm not going to mention every single detail in this video. This is just a summary video because there's lots to go through. The actual display itself is, as I say, very high resolution. It's mini LED. It has the best local dimming known to man. It is superb. It's basically OLED when it comes to black levels. Superb. No idea what Varjo did there with that headset. It's just, you know, Varjo doing what Varjo does best. And the only reason why it's number 3 is because I'm sort of pitching this as a consumer headset for you guys watching this. For professional training, it really is the best out there, and it shows. The Finnish Air Force use it, Lockheed Martin, even the militaries around the world that we probably don't even know of use this headset, as well as the automotive industry, the medical training side of things. It is incredible, and I do love the lenses, the brightness, the field of view. The comfort actually of the XR4 is also fantastic as well. But it is expensive, admittedly, and it's only for a specific niche group of people. In terms of the negatives, and this is the thing that really hits hard with this headset, unfortunately, it has pretty bad tiger striping with the display. It's such a shame, and it does tend to ruin what is a sensational display, and it's pot luck whether you get a good one or a bad one. My particular unit on the right lens has quite strong Mura lines in it. It's weird, it's one of those things that depending on the type of scene, it's more obvious than others. Like looking at this white background here with the clouds, you do see it quite badly. But looking down here at the scenery, or on a blue, sort of very bluish sky, you don't see it at all. You know, so it's just one of those things, unfortunately, that you have to deal with that type of the panel. And I don't think Varjo have a solution to that. So it's really one of those things that if it's within tolerance to them, you know, if you do have lines, if you buy it and send it back, they may say to you, well, I'm sorry, but that's within tolerance for the headset. You're just going to have to put up with it, you know? Not ideal, is it really? So it is a shame because, as I say, apart from that, the XR4 is a beast of a headset, and I really do enjoy using it. But it is number 3, and if you want more information on the Varjo XR4, well, check the channel out. I've got tons of videos of that headset. Right then, so number 2. And as soon as you find this out, well, you're going to find out number 1, aren't you? But keep watching because there is some caveats to this. Number 2 is actually the Somnium VR1, and it nearly made number 1 even in 2025. That headset is astonishing. What Somnium Space have achieved with the VR1 is, well, it boggles the mind, because the very fact it's here in this list with these crazy high PPD levels, this headset has the same resolution as the Crystal, the original Crystal, at 35 PPD. It's 2880 by 2880, that's the base resolution, and yet it is as sharp as the Crystal Super that I'm wearing now. I just don't know how they've done it. It's, you know, I don't know, guys. You're asking me, I know you're typing away now going, well, how is that possible? That's impossible. I don't know, okay? I've no idea how they managed it. I know there is some very clever algorithms they're using for their sharpening, but and obviously the lenses in the VR1 are incredible. It's like a dual stack lens design, dual aspheric, which means you get a fantastic field of view as well. I'm getting a downdraft again. Mountain flying is amazing in this sim. You know, the field of view figures, well, I'm getting around 124 degrees horizontal, which I think probably could be better if I had a better facial interface. I'm not quite sure. If you go for the Ultimate Edition, you've got really good pass-through, beautiful colour pass-through. which can be in the software. Unlike the Varjo base, it's completely unlocked. It's not through a paywall. You have a whole host of options to mask your cockpits. You know, you've got foveated rendering built into it as well. It's got very good OpenXR support now, great motion reprojection, you've got hand tracking, eye tracking, the whole works. The only thing that lets it down, I think maybe two things in 2025. First of all, the major thing for me, and it's always been the same thing, is the comfort. And that is because of the dual stack design lens means it does stick out from your head quite a bit. And just like holding a bucket of water, you know, like this, it's going to be really difficult doing this, but a lot easier if it's close to your chest. All that weight is far out, which means the center of gravity of the headset is a lot further out. And it does make a difference. And after about 2 hours, I've absolutely had enough in that headset. You know, really after about an hour and a half, I just can't be in that headset anymore. I've tried lots of things, and I've got a Bobo M3, which actually I have managed a 3-hour session in that. And I've also got a Vive Deluxe audio strap, which does help, and it means you can get audio in that headset as well. Talking of audio, I didn't mention that on the XR4. It does have audio, but it's not very good. It's not great. So basically what that means is you have a wealth of options to customize a headset with a different strap design. But I must admit, I do feel for the price of the headset, because it's incredibly expensive, it should come with a better, more robust head strap. But at least you can change it, that's the main thing. The other negative, I guess, which is really picky, and I'm only saying this because it's 2025 and it's up against a lot more high resolution PPD headsets, is you do notice, again, a bit like the Big Screen Beyond 2, it's not necessarily screen door, maybe a little bit, but it's just sort of, you notice that they are pixels there, but not in the general sense of screen door effect. It's just that pixel fill factor. When looking at the sky, which has just changed, I've just noticed, looking at the sky, it's not as clean and crisp as it is in the Super and the XR4 and the Megan X, because of that, you know, lower resolution. And it's crazy saying lower resolution, because honestly it's incredibly crisp, and looking at cockpit gauges, it is as sharp as the Crystal Super, which is amazing really, isn't it, to think that. So there you are, that's the Somnium VR1. So number one, we're at number one now, and it is, and I'm thrilled to say this, I'm actually really proud of Pimax for this. Well done to the team, because the Crystal Super is the best PCVR headset for the high-end market out there. And you know what the ironic thing is? This is also the cheapest that I've mentioned of the three. This is way cheaper than the XR4 and Somnium VR1, and yet it is the best. Simply because it is comfortable. The panel display, even though it's the same as the XR4, well, it has QLED technology, which means it has better colours, and they are actually throwing out quite a few displays, and the result is you'll hopefully get one with no tiger stripes. However, you might get Mura. That's one thing that is a bit of a potluck situation. Pimax can't afford to get rid of tons and tons of these crazy high resolution panels. And if you think about it, the Varjo are selling a headset which is $6,000 or even $12,000 with the Focal Edition, with even a less tolerance than this. So I do feel that the community need to cut Pimax some slack here, because it's mission impossible, folks, to sell a headset of this insane specifications for the price. There are going to be some instances where you will see some Mura in the displays, okay? It depends though on how strong that is. If it's too much for you, they do have a 14 days returns policy, which I think again is pretty damn impressive. It really is impressive, and kudos to them for adding that in. That's going to hurt them, guys. That's really going to hurt their sales, because there is going to be a lot of people out there that's just going to keep returning them until they get the perfect display. But so long as, in my opinion, if you look on a plain background like this, if you see a little bit of Mura, but then if you don't see it when you're looking at the scenery, I think that's within tolerance myself. Now, in terms of the things that makes this the best, it's a combination of things coming together, such as the modularity. You can swap the panel out of this thing, which is actually, you know, one of those things that I didn't think would be a good idea, but it is turning out to be quite a good option, because you can change the 50 ppd standard module, which I've got in this, which is my favourite at the moment anyway, to the 57 ppd module, which I haven't tested at the time of this recording. You can change it to the ultra wide as well, which has amazing field of view. I've got around 137 degrees horizontal, but for me personally, I prefer the 127 degrees, which is tested in this, because it's more comfortable on the eyes. You get a better binocular overlap as well. Again, I'm not going to go into all of that. I've got a full review of all of this stuff on the channel. But it's also the aspheric lenses. These are fantastic aspheric lenses with no warping. Like, this is the first aspheric lens that has no warping. You get great black levels with local dimming. Not quite as good as the Varjo XR4, I must admit, but it's still very, very good, and that could change and get better. Also, the eye tracking is very good. Again, not quite as good as the XR4. The Somnium VR1 eye tracking is very good, but I must admit, I don't think it's as good as the Pimax, simply because it's just easier to use. You basically click one thing, it remembers your calibration, and you just boom, straight into MSFS, and you've got foveated rendering. It's a bit more of a complicated affair with the VR1 at the moment, so it wins on that as well. I just think it is a superb PCVR headset. It even comes with controllers and inside out tracking as well. By the way, the Somnium VR1 needs base stations. That's another negative. Right, before I end the video, I'm now going to reveal my own personal favourite VR headset that I use as my daily driver. The one that I use when I'm not recording YouTube content most of the time. And it's not the Crystal Super, but it's close. It is still the Meganex 8K Micro OLED VR headset. It is still that headset. Now, you might be confused that I've just said that my recommended PCVR headset is a different one to my personal favourite. Well, I like to call that critical thinking, folks. Something that is very important when you're reviewing all of this technology. The fact is, for most of you out there, the Crystal Super makes the most sense, or the Big Screen Beyond version 2 actually. But for me, the Meganex wins because I am a massive fan of 4K Micro OLED. It is something that once you see it, you can't unsee it, together with the insanely like crazy form factor of the Meganex. It's so comfortable, and I just friggin' love it. Now, bear in mind, the reason why I'm not really recommending it for most of you out there is because A, the software support isn't great. It is getting better though, but at the moment the community is holding that headset up, and massive shout out to the S-Boy 3 mod, because that has transformed the headset so much so that Meganex are including a lot of that in their software now, and it is getting better. As I say, the motion reprojection of the Meganex is absolutely fantastic. The sharpness, it is the best VR visuals I've ever seen. And I'm not sure if you're new to the channel or not, but for me, I've always wanted a really superbly sharp 4K OLED screen, and the Meganex has it in spades, especially with that form factor as well. It is amazing. I've now modded mine to use a Vive Deluxe audio strap, which also means I get integrated audio. I just love it. But don't get me wrong, folks, the lenses of the Meganex are not as good as the Crystal and the Beyond. The field of view is small in that thing. You're talking of around 100 degrees, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on your face shape. You know, it doesn't have eye tracking either. It's hard to run. You need a 50-90 ideally. It's a very bespoke, niche headset. But for me, and that's kind of what I am really, very niche, when I've got all of the VR headsets under the sun, it's the Meganex that I always pick up. I just love it. I really do. But I will maintain that for the majority out there, the top two, and in fact the best one, is the Crystal Super or the Beyond 2, depending upon how important micro OLED and form factor is to you. That was a very complicated video to make. In the past, when I've made the best high-end PCVR headset video, it's been very simple, you know, because we've only had one class of VR, and that's this style of headset. And in the past, it's been the Varjo Aero that's often won. But I'm really glad that Pimax have won this one, because they are working very hard. And you know me, I always call them out when they mess up. However, I'll call them out when they do things well, you know? This is not a Pimax hate channel. It's not a Pimax fanboy channel either. This is just a place where you're going to get the honest truth about all of these VR headsets that are out there. Talking of which, if this video has been helpful to you, then please do consider supporting my content. I do have some affiliate links in the description below, along with some discount codes, the Big Screen Beyond and the Crystal Super and the XR4 and the Somnium VR1. I mean, I'm not affiliated with some of these guys, but in any case, if you'd like to support the channel, then please do feel free to use those links, because I have been working my ass off, you know, and I am burnt out, folks. I admit I am burnt out, and I've had enough of making YouTube videos, quite honestly, and I am going to take a break. You won't notice that though, because I have made a batch of videos to last me until the end of September. But for now, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care, and bye for now. There we go. Whew. Time for a coffee. Absolutely. But what incredible scenery to talk about all this technology, eh? Stunning! Absolutely stunning.